Good morning. You might notice my cards today look a little repaired, and the reason being is that I keep getting community violated for nudity. Although I've been reading tarot cards for a number of years and even reading them through podcasting and have not ever experienced this previous to now, someone is basically camping my page and reporting me for nudity and pornography. And of course, I have appealed this, and the system comes back and says, yeah, we agree. Your readings have nothing to do with pornography or nudity, but the picture itself is offending someone, so it has to be removed. So you will be noticing, unfortunately, on my end, that I'm going to be doing a few little modifications when there's any nudity so that I don't offend whoever this is. And if you're offended, please leave my page. Just go away. You're not doing me or yourself any favors. And quite frankly, I'm going to continue to provide these readings whether you report me or not. And I will find ways to be more clever than you are. So do keep that in mind. Okay, so what do we have today? I did the reading at 7:05 a.m., which is going to be a 1-2 energy or a 3, where we are learning to work together, including myself, where I'm going to learn to maneuver in this environment where there are so many people that can create harm for others. Today is March 8th, 2025, and this is a 2-0 or a 20 energy, very powerful, and how we are treating each other, a really interesting dynamic where we have the certain ones believing that they're so right that they have a right to harm us to prove their righteousness. So but that's just part of it. Okay, and today is Thursday. Today is Saturday. Sorry. And the beads for today are black tourmaline for protection and stabilization, blue sapphire for mental clarity, onyx for stamina, smoky quartz for grounding, and amethyst for stability of mind. I'm not going to recommend a black bead today because there's so many black beads being recommended as it is. I'm using the Rider-Waite deck, and my two cards are the 7 of Cups, which is relating to water and the fixed 8th house, the major arcana, Empress and Death, and the element water, and the Devil relating to the Capricornian 10th house, Earth, which is opposite Cancer, the house of family. And currently, Saturn is trining Mars in an applying fashion to the 4th house. So it has some bearing on what is happening. So what is this reading today? Well, it's about the emotional needs and our subconscious duties as we struggle to bring ourselves in balance with what we view as the many restrictions. We cannot live in our system without financial support and a way forward. And many are finding themselves without this proper support, being let go and basically gaslit on top of it and told, no, we didn't fire you, we laid you off, or, we let you go because of poor performance ratings, but no, we didn't do that. So it's a very, I would say, schizophrenic process right now. It feels very schizophrenic. And as this is happening, there are those who are gearing up to create further disruption. So do be mindful. Due to perceived existential threats, others having rights from a social justice perspective being a threat to a group, fueling conspiracy theories and rhetoric, stoking paranoia and mass psychosis, fueled by narratives that amplify their beliefs that violence is justified to protect their ideals regardless of yours, leading us to possible societal breakdowns. As they believe they're doing the work for the chosen one. All of us in this part of this change, in a system that is purposely polarizing its citizens through media and creating an environment where people who are perceived as leftists as the enemy of the state. And believing that as the enemies of the state, that militias and such need to organize and do things as heroes would and commit acts of violence to maintain status quo. Recently, we as a system witnessed pardons normalizing this type of violence against the citizens as the ideology aligns with desired outcomes without, they believe, consequences. We are built on an ideal of colonizing. And through violence, there's been a process of just taking whatever and telling those that were in a position that were, for instance, Native Americans, you just come in and tell them to move, and that's it. You can't be here anymore. This is going to be something that our current astrology is here to deal with. There are many who believe and are dissatisfied, angry, believing only white is right. But they have missed much in nature, unfortunately. If you've ever been to a field of flowers, for instance, the tulip festival, they come in all kinds of colors, and it's a feast for the eyes. And in that place, we don't see color. We see beauty. And in this place where we are, there is a desire to keep it all white. Historically, the skin color has been associated with value, status, and privilege. This is no longer going to hold. Our devil card, Capricorn, related to Earth, and the cardinal actions, opposite things relating to the family, with the trine from the 12th to the 4th house. First impressions. How do you like me so far? Gluttony, lust, and greed is where I sit, with great material success at your expense, seeing no reason not to enslave you, to create more for myself, so that the bottom line looks a certain way. And, well, nothing about a bouquet of flowers and the variety of colors has anything to do with what's happening. God created you and I. He created us in his glory, colorful and beautiful in many different ways. Cultural conditioning is creating narratives that, when closely examined, are false. If we consider nature and her diversity, we are able to celebrate her beauty from a colorblind perspective. Unfortunately, many have ingrained beliefs about identity and belonging. But to be privileged and white requires oppression and fear on the other end of the spectrum. Our system has been built on the backs of slavery, theft, and colonization. And we can't continue this. Pluto in Aquarius says it is going to collapse these systems that hide information, that take advantage of others in dark ways. These are outdated structures in every way. Yes, we are being told we're going back to 1789. How handy. A time of outdated authoritarian power structures, giving federal government concentrated power among white males, making property of others. Modern times calls for breaking down these inequities, and anybody thinking we could go back to that has a mental health problem that I can't even begin to get on board with. This vision is running out of time, obviously. As great hubris takes place, overreach, and serious discrimination, this is creating fractures, and we are witnessing mass mobilization of resistance taking place in society. What I do want to say is this is going to create grassroots movements, and it's going to lead us to push back and truly do the healing we need to do. Things by 2026, Pluto starts to conjunct trine Aquarius. Pluto starts to trine Uranus several times, leading to breakthroughs. By July of 2026, the South Node enters Leo, amplifying progress, challenging authority. So this isn't going to continue. And again, I apologize for having to manipulate my cards, but I have someone who clearly is probably on the right, doesn't like me on the left. And so I'm getting a lot of really kind of false flagging where they're saying I'm into nudity, pornography. My cards are, I'm trying to sell readings that are of a dark nature in some way. And that isn't what I'm doing at all. So I just find it almost funny, the many ways we can harm each other and not take any responsibility for it. And so, whoever you are, I am going to pray for you, and that you find yourself not so troubled and needing to work on me. Maybe you need to work on you, and it's okay. I understand. We all have this problem, and it's hard to focus on self when there's so much to focus on. And with that, please do like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for the many who are subscribing and joining me. Please do leave comments. Help me make this a successful channel. Thank you so much for your time today.